Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be continuing kind of a segment that I've been doing on my channel. So if you haven't seen my previous videos, please check them out after this one. I think you'd enjoy them if you like this. But I have been listing, in my opinion, the top 10 players in all of the NHL this season per position. So continuing with that, the center position is, in my opinion, one of the most crucial positions in all of the NHL for a team because unlike, say, having certain wingers or defensemen who have one-dimensional games, whether a winger is very offensively minded, does not do well in his own zone, or a defenseman who's definitely stay at home and does not contribute offensively, that you can get away with for plenty of teams. But when it comes to centermen, they are one of the most crucial positions in making sure that they are two-dimensional. There are not many centermen that are elite in the NHL that do not know how to play in their own zone. The majority of them do and are above average because a lot of things fall into that. And I'm not even talking about face-offs because while face-offs are important, they aren't nearly as important as other statistics and just the overall game of a centerman. So because they control so much, a lot of the centermen in the league are playmakers especially. And if you look at the more elite centermen in all the NHL or just above average, they all are fantastic, not just in the offensive zone, but in their own zone and the neutral zone. All around, they are pretty solid, forechecking, back-checking, whatever it may be. They just contribute in all ways, shape, or forms, especially if it's be power play and penalty kill, which a lot of the top centermen in the league do. So that just goes to show that, in my opinion, the center position is unbelievably crucial. So for this list, I am going to be talking about point production because that is important, obviously, with being a forward, especially a centerman. But I will be discussing Corsi too, because Corsi is a crucial statistic regarding this. So to basically summarize Corsi is that if you have, say, a 55% Corsi or higher, that means that you are among elite company in all the NHL because you are in the attacking zone more, the offensive zone, attacking more constantly. And if you say have a percentage of 44% or lower, then you are defending more often in your own zone with the puck not on your stick nearly as much. That's not really a good thing. So to summarize, Corsi is basically the equivalent to plus and minus, just the only difference is that it's instead of it being necessarily goals for and goals against, it is going to be, like shots on goal for, contributing while you're on the ice versus being on the ice against when shots, among other things, happen. So with that being said, at this list, I have at number 10, I have Elias Pettersson. Pettersson is a fantastic young centerman, as I'm sure you know. Him, along with other young centermen, have really taken the league by storm over the past couple years. And if you go into statistics this season, in 68 games played, he has 27 wins, 27 goals, 37 assists for 66 points, but his Corsi is 55.7%. So that is fantastic. That's some of the best in all of the NHL, especially centerman. It just shows that how much more he is attacking puck constantly on his stick in the offensive zone versus him trailing constantly in his own zone. So it just shows that regardless of his stature, Elias has some of the slickest hands in all of the NHL. He makes things happen constantly. He's an elite playmaker and can shoot the puck like no other. And overall, there's so much to like with him, especially as a young centerman. He's only going to continue to get better. But next on my list at number 9, I have Mark Scheifele. Scheifele is, in my opinion, and I've talked about him a couple of videos ago, so if you haven't checked that out, please do after this. But Scheifele is, in my opinion, the leader on the Winnipeg Jets. I get it that Blake Wheeler is the captain, but Scheifele is that next man up in regards to being captain, in my opinion, and he is already one of their biggest voices in the locker room. Scheifele, since coming into the league, has progressed tremendously after kind of having a somewhat slow start to his development in his young career. But since then, he has really been playing on all cylinders. And this season especially, in 71 games played, he's been over a point per game with 29 goals, 44 assists for 73 points, and has a Corsi of 49.9%. So while the Corsi isn't as prominent as some of the others I have on this list, Scheifele still cracks the top 10 for me because of just how strong of an overall game he has, whether it be offensively and defensively. He's strong on the puck too. He's a big-bodied centerman that knows how to skate. He shoots the puck. His hockey IQ is superb, and in my opinion, he's going to go down as one of the better centermen in all of the NHL for the remainder of his career. I don't think he gets as much attention as I believe he deserves because without him, there would be a gaping hole in the Winnipeg Jets and their success overall. But next, at number 8, I have Sebastian Aho. Aho, you might be wondering, why do you have Aho at 8 when he has the same amount of points this season as Elias Pettersson and quite a few less than Mark Scheifele? While that may be true, this is going to prove otherwise as to why he deserves to be higher. Aho this season is having a fantastic season. In 68 games played, he had 38 goals as a centerman. That's nuts. 28 assists for 66 points, but his Corsi is, get ready for this, 57.0%. One of the best in all of the NHL. That is a ridiculous number. It just shows how amazing he is, bringing up the rush, staying in the offensive zone, making things happen, attacking. He is not one that you're going to see trail much going into his own zone because of just how great he is with the puck on his stick. And Aho is such a young centerman as well, like Pettersson, among others. And they are just a few that are really going to be the face of the NHL for years going forward. And Aho is another that, in my opinion, because he plays for a team like the Hurricanes, nothing against the Hurricanes, I am a fan of them. I do think that he doesn't get as much attention as he deserves either because he's not playing for a big market team. So, with that being said, at number 7 now on this list, I have Jack Eichel. You might be like, whoa, why do you have Jack Eichel at number 7? Why is he not top 3, top 5 maybe? Well, there's a couple things that go into that, but Eichel is still an amazing centerman, so strong on the puck too, lethal shot, and is pretty much a one-handed offense when it comes to the players around him. Unfortunately for the Buffalo Sabres, they just don't have a lot there. But Eichel, year in and year out, has proven just how fantastic he is. And when he gets on his goal-scoring streaks, he is truly one of the best players in all of the NHL. With that being said, Eichel this season has, in 68 games played, has 36 goals, 42 assists for 78 points, and has a Corsi 51.5%. You'll understand why I have people above him, starting with number 6 now, and I have Mika Zibanejad. I have Zibanejad at number 6 because what he has done in the amount of games this season, let alone proves so much, but his Corsi is strong as well. But getting into it, Zibanejad this season, in 57 games played, has 41 goals, which is, he currently has the highest shooting percentage. I'm sorry, maybe not the highest. He has one of the highest shooting percentage in all of the NHL. He has the highest average goals per game. I think it's 0.72%. I don't know if that's completely accurate. I know it's 0.7 something, but I think it's 0.72. Regardless, Zibanejad has been on fire for the Rangers this season after dealing with injury earlier in the season, and that has not stopped him at all. He is having a career year with only 57 games played. It's remarkable. 34 assists for 75 total points, and has a Corsi of 50.1%. While I understand the Rangers are one of the better teams in all the NHL when it comes to offense, Zibanejad is a crucial part into that and their success. So next, at number 5 now, I have Evgeny Malkin. Malkin is probably one of the most overlooked players in all of the NHL this season. What he has been doing, especially without Sidney Crosby in the lineup, has been lights out. If you've been watching him as much as I have, and I'm not a Penguins fan, so that just shows I'm not watching him every game, but the games I've watched him and the highlights this year, he has been absolutely unreal, and he's not a defensive liability by any means. Malkin, in 55 games played this year, has really rejuvenized his career. I shouldn't say career, but has really had a strong season after some so-so seasons previously. And Malkin has 25 goals, 49 assists for 74 points. Fantastic numbers in 55 games played, might I add. And has 54.4% as his Corsi. That is some elite Corsi company right there. And just shows that even with Malkin having those stereotypes in the past of essentially being a lazy Russian, if you will, with not back-checking as much as he should earlier in his career, this year at least, I don't know about you, but something has just proven to me that he has been unbelievably strong-minded when it comes to being in his own zone and in the neutral zone, and he's showing just that with this Corsi especially, and his points per game is ridiculous right now, along with Zibanejad, but because of those reasons, I had them above Jack Eichel. But next, at number 4 on my list now, I have Austin Matthews. Matthews is a remarkable young player, and one that some may say is overhyped by Toronto. I don't think he is by any means, and here's why. This season, at least in 70 games played, he has 47 goals, 33 assists for 80 points. He has a Corsi of 54.2%. I get it, Toronto is an offensive dynamo, but it still comes down to him bringing up the rush, being a part of the offensive zone, and attacking to that Corsi percentage. Matthews is fantastic. He has a differential also when it comes to giveaways and takeaways of 30 plus. He's amazing when it comes to takeaways, one of the best forwards in all of the NHL in that category, and truly does not get enough recognition for the little things he does night in and night out, in my opinion. Next, at number 3 on this list, I have Connor McDavid. You might be like, wait, you have Connor McDavid at number 3? Yeah, I do. But here's why. McDavid this season, at least, obviously hasn't been as good as he has in previous seasons. That's because he's dealt with injury. So in 64 games played this year, though, he has 34 goals, 63 assists for 97 points. Those are still ridiculous numbers, but for Connor McDavid's standards, maybe aren't as good. And that's crazy to say, but that's just because of how elite he is. He is the best player in the NHL. He's just not the best player in the NHL this season. So he has 49.0% as his Corsi. So not as good as some of the other guys on this list, but that goes with all the Edmonton players, might I add. That just goes with the guys that he has around him too, and that needs to be taken into account. But regardless, McDavid is a fantastic player. In my opinion, easily the best in the league overall. But if we're talking this season, he just isn't there, and here's why. At number 2, I have Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon has done things for the Colorado Avalanche that, in my opinion, puts him just over the edge over McDavid. If you look at in 69 games played, he has 35 goals, 58 assists for 93 points. Yes, that's less points in more games than Connor McDavid. That may be true. His Corsi, though, is at 54.2%, which is 5+% higher than Connor McDavid. That is a significant enough gap, in my opinion, to have him above McDavid on this list. MacKinnon, as we all know, is one of the best skaters in all the NHL, along with McDavid, of course. But MacKinnon, how strong he is on the puck, I don't think gets noticed nearly as much. One-on-one, it is unbelievably hard to go against him, no question. And he's been in the league for so long now, and he's still so young. But without him in the Avalanche lineup, there's nothing going there for them. With all the injuries they have dealt with, especially this season, he's just far and away the best player on the Avalanche. We're talking a 40-point gap to the second closest player in points this season. And like I said, injuries do go in part with that. But regardless, MacKinnon is such an amazing player, and in my opinion, is deserving of being at number 2 on this list. Which leaves me with the obvious choice at number 1, and that is Leon Draisaitl. What Draisaitl has done with McDavid out of the lineup, especially, and not playing with him nearly as much as they say have earlier in their careers, just shows that he is not a byproduct of playing alongside Connor McDavid. With or without McDavid in the lineup, that is not going to dictate how Leon Draisaitl plays. He gets overshadowed a lot by McDavid, without question. I think the same thing goes with Malkin at times with Sidney Crosby. But regardless, Draisaitl is fantastic, the best centerman and best player overall in the NHL this season. He in 71 games played, he has 43 goals, 67 assists, and 110 total points. That is over 10 points more than the second closest player in the league, or at least centerman. His Corsi, though, is 48.1%. So not fantastic. Draisaitl, as we all know, is not amazing in his own zone. He is kind of more of a defensive liability, as you will. But because of how above average and amazing he is overall on the offensive front, and makes up for his defensive woes at times. I'm sure he feels that he doesn't need to contribute as much defensively as others because of just how much he's doing on the offensive front. Same thing with McDavid. They are constantly on the ice too. Their average ice time is ridiculous, some of the highest in all the NHL, especially for forwards. But with that being said, that's really going to conclude this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree with me with my list. Same thing with previous videos. Please check them out if you haven't. But I really hope you enjoyed. And if you have a different list than mine, or are wondering why I picked guys where I did and didn't mention certain guys, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. So thank you all again, and I'll be back in a day or two.